Hi! Welcome to episode 9 of the Samsqueak Craftcast. I am so glad you're here. I have a lot to talk about tonight. It is night. It is nighttime. It is very dark. My house does not have great lighting, so I apologize if this episode does not look great. It is what it is. I don't have daylight hours where the children are sleeping. So here we are at night in my living room. Welcome! I'm so glad you're here. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. And if you are a new viewer, I am so excited that you're here. My name is Sam. I live just outside of the city of Chicago with my husband, my two crazy little redheaded boys, and my little scruffy old man dog, Toby, who is sleeping on the couch over here right next to me. So if you hear dog jingling throughout this episode, that's why. He sleeps in my room, in our room, and he refuses to go to bed until we go up. And he is tired because he's just a cranky little old dog, and so he just like lays around and sleeps. And occasionally we'll look up and be like, "Can we go to bed now, please?" No? Okay. Anyways. I'm so glad you're here. We have so much to talk about. It's gonna be a fun one. So I hope you have something warm and cozy to drink and crochet or knit or whatever you're working on today. I hope you are settled in and ready to talk about some yarn. So let's get started. By the way, happy first day of fall. Today is the first day of fall. So when you're watching it, we're already into fall. But today is the first day of fall, and it was actually finally fall weather here. It was like chilly and perfect outside, and I was so happy. I am so ready for fall. So here we are, and I'm drinking my fall tea from Trader Joe's, which is one of my favorites. And this is just a little mason jar cozy that I made. I went through a phase where I made these obsessively. So, but this is oddly the only one I can find right now. So here we are, mason jar cozy. So let's jump in. We're gonna do finished objects. My first finished object is what I'm wearing. So this is my Amaroo Shawl by Deanne at Addie Day Designs, and it is made with my Moontower Dyeworks, Sully, Mike, and Randall, and my Show Me yarn in the Bois d'Arc colorway, and I'm obsessed with it. I am so happy, so happy with this shawl. So I just took it off the blocking mats, like, to do this, to film this. So it's like still slightly damp, but it's fine. It's fine. It's mostly dry. So here we are. It's so big. It blocked out. It blocked enormous. It's so much bigger than it was before I blocked it. And I was going back and forth on whether or not I was actually going to block this one. I'm really glad I did. I'm very happy with it. I'll show you a close-up of the colorway. So this bright blue with the purple speckles and the green is the Sully, Mike, and Randall by Moontower Dyeworks, and is my favorite yarn that I have ever owned. And I was a little sad to actually like start crocheting with it because I wanted to just keep it forever and squish it. But I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with how it came out, and it is soft and light. The pattern was excellent. I highly recommend it. Deanne has amazing patterns, and she also has a podcast. So yeah, and I'll show you the yarn that I have left. I have a little bit left of each color. So this is the Sully, Mike, and Randall. There we go. So I haven't weighed this yet to see how much I have left, but it's a pretty good amount, and then I have about the same amount of the black, slightly less. So it's a 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn is what this pattern calls for. And so I have maybe half a skein left. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these exactly, but I'm going to weigh them, and then I think I might use this one at least, for socks. Not obviously a full set of socks, but maybe like a contrast sock. Unless you have pattern recommendations for small amounts of fingering weight yarn. Because I haven't worked with fingering weight yarn up until the last year, so I don't know what to do with it as like scrappy leftovers. So yeah, if you have an idea besides socks, let me know in the comments. So that is my first finished object, and I'm very happy with it. And I'm going to wear it all the time now that it is blocked. Yeah, I love the way it came out. And it's like my Nashville shawl. It reminds me of my trip that I took to Nashville by myself, which I didn't get to talk about much. Was that the last episode or the one before that? One of the kids woke up right when I was about to start talking about it. So anyways, I took a trip to Nashville, just me, which is where I went to college and where we lived for the first few years of marriage, and so I was there to see a friend get married. And yeah, it was so nice to just have a trip, like a whole weekend by myself. And I drove, so I had just like hours in the car to listen to like whatever podcast or music I wanted to, and it was fantastic. And so I started the shawl while I was down there, and so it just reminds me of my little personal getaway. Finished object number 2 is my box fingerless mitts. And they were a half object last time I showed you. So this is a free pattern by One Dog Wolf. So you can see they're actually like opposites of each other. They wrap around. I'll put them on for you. It's a free pattern on her blog by One Dog Wolf. I was very happy with it. And these are a gift for my niece for her birthday, which was in August, but it's okay because it's just now cold, so she hasn't needed them yet. And I showed them to her, like, as they were partially done. I was like, here, I'm going to give this to you when I finish it. They're very cozy. If I was going to make them for myself, this is a weird angle. They're too wide. But I have child-size arms, so I would cut some off of the back if I was making them for me. The only other modification I made to the pattern is that I used, the pattern is written in single crochet in front post, single crochet for every stitch, and I am not good at that apparently, as we discussed last time, so I modified it and made them in front post half double crochet, and I'm very happy with that modification. So if you are familiar with color work, I recommend this pattern. The only part of the pattern that got a little fiddly for me was the bottom cuff, because the color work here is charted, and so you can just follow it along, and then on the cuff it's written out. And I just found that harder to follow, like how many stitches am I doing in which color. I would have preferred a chart also for that, but I imagine that would be harder to put together from a design standpoint. So, but regardless, I'm very happy with them. So, some of my dancing foxes. I also remember a couple of years ago, maybe more than a couple of years ago, that obnoxious, like, "What does the fox say" song. That is stuck in my head constantly because of these. Because I was working on them and it would get stuck in my head and I can't get it out. So I'm happy to be done with them so that I can stop having that loop of a song in my head. Anyways. My other finished object was the Finley crochet cable hats by Lakeside Loops that I was making as baby gifts, and I showed off one in my last episode, and then I made a coordinating one out of one Karen cake for 2 babies, and I finished them, and they have already gone off to keep those baby heads warm. So I will pop a picture up here, and I'm very happy with how they turned out, and I have a ton of the Karen cake left. I haven't weighed that yet either. So my only comment on that pattern is that I think the yardage estimate is not correct, because I think it called for, like, I don't know. I don't want to say without having fully looked at it. But regardless, I think the pattern said far more yards for those size hats than what I used. So I will update my Ravelry notes when I weigh that if you are interested. It's an excellent pattern. I was very happy with the cables, very clearly written, and she's like a bundle, so you buy 2 or 3 patterns and get a discount. So you should go check her out. Those are my main finished objects. I have another finished object that we're going to talk about a little bit later, which if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen by now, because I've talked about it just a little bit. Excuse me. So I'm going to do works in progress, because I only have one. My work in progress right now is a beanie for my littlest redhead. Let's see if I can do this without untangling it all. So this is a crochet brioche beanie. You can see the top here has this twisted look. So it's a 3-color hat. The pattern is the Pumpkin Spice Beanie by Rachie Nguyen. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I love this hat. I'm so happy with it. And the pattern has the full range of sizes, so I will be making more of these. This is not a beginner pattern though, so I'm just going to warn you, if you haven't done even a similar kind of crochet brioche pattern, I don't know that I would recommend this one as your first pattern. But if you are confident, an intermediate to advanced crocheter, it's a really fantastically squishy, amazing hat. So, and I went ahead and bought it. She has it in a bundle with hat, cowl, and fingerless mitts. So I got all 3 of those patterns. So you will be seeing more of this style. And I'll show you the inside. It's a fun, just flip it all the way inside out. So it's straight lines on the inside, and it would be reversible except that I'm carrying the yarn up for the color changes. These are actually all supposed to be in the same spot, and I don't know what happened with the blue one. I don't know why it's over here. It got off, and I just couldn't be bothered to care, so it's fine. He's not going to be wearing it inside out. I think if I were to make this hat again, which I probably will for my other son, I would do it in 2 colors. I think I would just like the look of it better. I think the 3 colors is a little busy for me. I also don't know if my children just have gigantic heads, because this is actually my child with the smaller head. And I made it to size, but it still feels a little tight on him. But I'm like already all the way done with it. I just have to do a brim. So I'm not ripping it out. It's going to be a little snug, but it'll just keep him warm and it won't fall off his head, hopefully. This yarn is the yarn I got at Tuesday Morning, which is the 45% acrylic, 55% merino sport weight. The pattern does call for worsted weight. I used sport weight, and then I just measured the diameter and multiplied it by pi to get the circumference of the hat. So that's typically what I do with hats. I don't really care if I'm following like to gauge for the pattern. I just measure the hat I'm going to make it for and then make it as big as I need to. So it's not the pattern's fault that it's a little snug on my kid's head. I probably should have done one more round before going straight down, but I didn't. I thought it would be fine, and it's fine, it fits him, it just won't fit him next year, which is okay. So I'm making it in these 3 colors. It is the, I can't even read the label on it because it's got a sticker on it. Hold on. Carlton Merino Sport. And it's very soft, and I'm happy working with the yarn. So this will be done like this weekend. I just gotta finish the brim, weave in the ends, and we'll be done. And yeah, like I said, I will definitely be making more of these, and they're going to be so warm in the horrible winter that is going to be coming. That's my only work in progress. That's all I have, because I have been working away on a project. Yes, I will do that. So I just had to have a little internal dialogue with myself. So I'm going to talk to you about my new design, and then we'll move into acquisitions, of which there are too many. So I showed off last time on my last episode the Karen Pantone yarns that I got at Michael's that I like impulse bought. And I have designed a cowl set. So it comes in a child and adult size cowl, and I have actually made a design, and I've had it tested, and it is live on Ravelry right now, which is really exciting. So anyways, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to show you the pieces. So this is my cowl. So this is called the Painted Moss Cowl, and it's called that because it's made in the moss stitch. It's made in a corner-to-corner moss stitch, actually, and then it's worked flat and then seamed around to make, seamed up the side to make it into a cowl. So this is the child size, and I'll give you a close-up of that. So I made this one first, and I was just kind of playing around with it and seeing how much I could get out of one set of the Karen Pantone. So the child size uses like one entire set. You'll have like scraps, like little itty bitty scraps left over at the end of this. And it fits my 5-year-old perfectly. And then the adult size takes 2 sets. And again, you'll have slightly more than itty bitty scraps left over, but not a lot. Nothing to make anything else with. And yeah, so for two little sets of this yarn, you can make yourself one, and for 3 sets, you can make a mommy and me set. So yeah, I'm just very happy with this. It came out exactly how I was picturing it. I love the way, I really wanted these colors to kind of fade into each other. So that's what I did here. So we start with, this is actually not quite accurate. This isn't how the pattern is written because I was testing out the fading to see how many I could do. So once you start here, we have these couple rows of fading into the new color, and there are 5 colors in each set, and there are so many different colors of this yarn. I had some amazing testers who they all picked different colors, and they all look fantastic, and I just want to make a million more of them. So if you tested this pattern for me, thank you so much. Specifically, I want to thank Janine at Capital Crochet. Her feedback was so thorough and so helpful, and this pattern would be not like, it would just not be nearly as thorough as it is without her review. So thank you, Janine. I so appreciate you. I'm so thankful for just the way you edited this with so much. You were just so thorough and so helpful, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I had 5 or 6 testers total, so 2 for each size, I believe. And I had really great feedback from all of them, and I am so excited to see a pattern that I came up with, like, out in the world being made by other people, and that they seem happy with it. So I'm very excited. Yeah. Guys, I wrote a pattern. So it is live on Ravelry right now. It is the Painted Moss Cowl. So you can go pick up a copy of it. It is a paid-for pattern, but for you, my lovely podcast viewers, I have a little coupon code that is good for the next 2 weeks. So 2 Saturdays from now. I don't remember that date, but I'll put it in the notes for you. You can use the coupon code Painted Moss, and you'll get 25% off this pattern. So I hope you pick up a copy. I hope you love it, and I would love to see your version of it. Now, you don't have to make this in the Pantone yarn. You can make it in whatever yarn you want. So it's a pretty flexible pattern. You can use bulky weight like the Pantone, or you can use a worsted weight. You would just need to adjust, and I have notes in the pattern for how you would adjust for width and length, and then obviously any number of colors you wanted to do. You would just be changing where and when you do the color changes. So yeah, that's my pattern. So I also would like to do a giveaway of this pattern for you, my lovely podcast viewers. So leave me a comment below and tell me, I never know what to say for these things. Tell me something really happy that happened to you this week, or yeah, something happy about your week. And I will leave that open for, we'll say, 2 weeks, and then I will draw a winner and I will announce that. Yeah, comment below for the giveaway, and the coupon code is Painted Moss, and I will put that in the show notes down below. And yeah, so thanks to everyone who encouraged me on Instagram as I was writing up this pattern. Thank you again to my testers, and I am so excited to see what you guys come up with for this pattern. That's my big news. I've been in like a tizzy all day because of writing this pattern, and like I was putting the final touches on editing it, and then I had it like as a draft in Ravelry for like several hours before I could brace myself to actually hit publish. But it's on there. Okay, alright, we're gonna move on. It's really hot in this house, so I'm gonna take off this cowl now. It's very warm and cozy. You will not be cold wearing this cowl. We're going to move on to acquisitions. So, like I said, buckle up. I've got more than I should. My first one is this beautiful skein of Malabrigo. Look how pretty she is. If you have watched this podcast at all, you know that I have a small obsession with Malabrigo. This is the colorway Indicita. There we go. So it's just really pretty greens and blues, and yeah, I love it. So this, when it grows up, is going to be a hat for a friend's baby, and depending on how much yarn, it might be 2 hats, depending on which pattern I go with. We are going to visit some friends this fall who just had a baby. So I am going to whip up a hat for them, and yeah, she is mom is a knitter, so she appreciates quality yarn and quality patterns. So I am very excited to make something for her, because it's one thing to make someone for somebody who doesn't really, they don't crochet or knit, and so they don't really know what all goes into it. So I'm excited to make something for somebody who like truly appreciates it. So that is acquisition number 1. Acquisition number 2. The internet got me in trouble again. Lion Brand was having a $1 sale on yarn, and somebody on Instagram told me about it. Actually, there were like tons of posts. So I gave in. I mean, it was $1. And then there was shipping. So it wasn't really $1, but it was still like less than $3 a ball if you added, when I added in shipping with everything I got and then divided it up per ball. I decided it was still worth it. So I got some stuff. So I'm just going to show you some of it, but not, like, I got multiple skeins of several things. So the first thing I got was these fettuccine t-shirt yarns. And I love t-shirt yarn. I actually make it out of t-shirts, but obviously this is a lot more yardage than you can get out of a t-shirt. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I was trying to like work up some swatches with it, with crocheting, because I would really like something wearable. I know most people use this for like baskets and rugs. I've actually done, I used to arm knit t-shirt scarves, and I loved it. So I might do that again, but I'd like to do something different. But I don't know what it's going to be yet. The swatches I was working up just was not working. So yeah, I would like something wearable, probably a scarf or a shawl-ish type thing in super bulky t-shirt yarn. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to see them. So I got 4 skeins of this, and they were just assorted colors. So I think I ended up with 2 of the blue, a black, maybe I got 5. I think I have 2 pinks too. So I have a lot of t-shirt yarn to be messing with. And then I got 3 colors of wool spun, and I got 2 of each of them. So we have, I think they're discontinuing wool spun. I heard a rumor about that. I'm going to be sad if they do, because I really love this yarn. So this is the purple, and the color is plum. So 2 of that. I think that's going to be a hat for me. And then I got this variegated forest print, and I got that with the idea to make something for one of my boys. And then the brown, I just thought was a nice neutral coffee color. So I have lots of wool spun for winter goodies. And then my next acquisition, excuse me, I'm going to be making a birthday present for my mom. So I'm making the Astrid Ruana sweater that by TL Yarn Crafts, and I am making it in red and gray. So I can't remember how I did it. I think the gray is the main color and the red is the accent color. I think that's what I decided on. So this is Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton in pewter and burnt sienna. So I really love the way these 2 pair together, and my mom loves red. Red is not my color, it is her color. She tries to occasionally make it be my color. by buying me things that are red, and it does not work. But I'm very excited to put these two together for her. So her birthday is in pretty soon. It's early October, so I need to get started. But I won't be seeing her on her birthday. I think I'll see her a couple weeks later. So I will be working this up shortly. I think it should be a pretty quick make. I read through the pattern. It seems fairly straightforward. It's just a lot of yarn. But Hobby Lobby was having a sale. They were having 30% off all their yarn. So I got a sweater's quantity of this yarn for like $16, I want to say. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah, it's 100% cotton. It's super soft. It is my favorite cotton to work with ever. So I have never done a garment with it though. So I'm excited to see how that works out. And then my last acquisition you guys, this one's crazy. Look how big this ball of yarn is. It's so big. It's the size of, it's bigger than my head. So, I got sucked into the trend of these giant knit blankets. And this is going to be a Christmas present for my sister-in-law, who loves fuzzy things. So this is the Bernat Blanket Big. So I've been loving the giant knit blankets that you see all over Instagram that are made out of roving, but it just doesn't seem practical to me because they cost a ton of money to get that much roving, and then they're just going to be pilly and fuzzy and gross or impractical, or you can't use them. So I was very excited to see this because this is practical. This can be used and it's not going to fall to pieces because it's polyester. I am going to knit this. I'm not going to crochet it. So I ordered some giant 25mm knitting needles that will be here tomorrow. And yeah, I'm very excited. One, because I'm going to have a Christmas present done way before Christmas. And specifically because I'm making it for that sister-in-law, because she starts Christmas present shopping in like January. It's ridiculous. She is so prepared. She is already done with my children's Christmas presents. I don't have anything for my children for Christmas. Christmas is like her time of year. And I'm always behind and never prepared for Christmas. So I'm excited that the one thing I will be prepared with, at least, is her blanket. That is, if I don't procrastinate and actually do this in time. So we'll see. Check in on me. Hold me accountable, make sure I get this thing finished. Like, before December, at least. I have 6 balls of this. And I don't think it will take very long to make because they're gigantic. So, wish me luck. Those are all my acquisitions. Guys, I thought I had a lot. It's only been 35 minutes. I feel like I've been talking a long time. Well, that's everything. What do I have coming up? I'm going to be doing the sock along that Faye over at the Crochet Circle podcast is running, and that starts, I believe, next week. So she's got a blog hop going, and there's been a couple posts already, and I had previously purchased a sock pattern by Vicki Brown, the Sweetheart Socks. Did I write it down? Yeah. The Sweetheart Socks by Vicki Brown, and I'm going to be using some yarn from my fiber share box that Sydney sent me, and I had started them on my vacation in St. Louis, and I got through like their cuff down, and I got through the cuff, and I'd started the foot, and then I tried it on my foot, and it like barely went like halfway up my foot. Like there was no way it would actually go around my heel. So let that be lesson number 1 in crochet sock making, is check your gauge and measure your foot and make sure it's going to fit before you work too far. So thankfully I had not gone far, and I will frog that and start again with the support of the Crochet Circle podcast. So that, I'm very excited about that, and I'm hoping to also make the baseline socks by Deanne at Addie Day Designs, because they are a crochet brioche sock and they look so squishy and so comfy, and I want them. So if I can do 2 pairs of socks in that time frame, that's what I'm going to do, though I would have to get more sock yarn. Other than that, I don't have much coming up, so yeah, I'm just going to be working on the sweater for my mom, and then I have a couple other projects that I need to make for birthday gifts coming up soon, but I don't have yarn, or that I have a pattern picked out for one of those, but I haven't purchased it yet. So yeah, other than that, that's all I've got going on. So I do have one other little thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and it's related to my scarf somewhat. So if you just wanted to hear about yarn, then that is all. That's all the yarn I have. So this is just regular life. So my husband and I got connected through our church to an organization called Team World Vision 3 years ago now. And Team World Vision is like a partner organization of World Vision, which is one of the largest humanitarian organizations in the world. And Team World Vision specifically raises money for clean water projects, primarily in Africa. And they do this through running and endurance sports. So my husband in 2016, without ever having been a runner, without being an athlete of any sort, without being he didn't run. We were home buddies. We did not get out and move a whole lot. Yeah, so in 2016 he signed up to run the Chicago Marathon. He had never run a single race before. He had never run a 5K. He had, like, in college, run more than 3 miles, but he had never actually participated in a race. And it had been years since he had run more than like a mile. So he signed up for that, and it was a crazy journey of just an entire life transformation for him. So he ran that marathon, his first marathon, in 2016. Turns out he's like super fast and really good at running, which who knew? We didn't. We had no idea. And then in 2017, after having watched him train and fundraise for that, and that first year he raised just over $7,000. And then in 2017, for all of the 2016 race, I was watching him fundraise, and I was pregnant with our youngest, and so I was just like getting bigger and bigger, and he was like getting smaller and smaller. It was fun. So in 2017, I knew they were going to obviously like pitch running the marathon again at our church, and I kept trying to push off this feeling like I was going to run the marathon, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not a runner. I am not a runner. Also, I just had a baby. Also, I don't like running. But I couldn't shake it. And so last year, I ran the marathon, and my husband ran the marathon. And we had multiple children. It was crazy. So I started training when my son was 3 months old. I don't recommend that. It was exhausting. but together we trained and ran the Chicago Marathon. He ran obviously way ahead of me. He finished like a full hour before me, which was annoying. But we raised just over $10,000 together, which was amazing. So for Team World Vision, or for World Vision, $50 gives one person access to clean water for the rest of their life, which is just such a vital need. And we just feel passionately that these families and these kids that World Vision is working with deserve access to clean water. And it's not a luxury, or it shouldn't be a luxury, that we can just walk to our kitchen and drink water straight from our tap. And so the average distance that a kid that a person in Africa walks, and it's usually women and children, is 6 kilometers a day. And I just can't imagine that. I can't imagine one of my kids walking 6 kilometers for anything, but much less for water. So we just believe that no parent should have to watch their kids go through that. No parent should have to make choices about whether or not they should send their kids to school, or whether they can send their kids to school, or if they need their kids to stay home so that they can help get water for their family. So we believe in the work World Vision is doing, and that's why we continue to run. So this year, my husband and I both took off. I kind of put my foot down. I was like, no marathons. It's a lot. It's a lot of hours and hours of training to do a marathon. But my husband is just now still a runner, and he runs all the time. So he is running tomorrow, which when you're watching this will already have happened. He's running the Chicago Half Marathon, and he is running it for Team World Vision and fundraising again. So as an incentive to help him out with that, I am offering up that if you would like to help us out in this cause and help provide clean water, if you donate $10 or more to his fundraising page, which I will put a link to down below, I will give you a copy of my pattern. So if you make a donation, and then you can either just leave a comment there and say something about the podcast, I will get a hold of you. Just make sure that you don't leave your donation as anonymous to him, and we'll make sure to get in touch and get you a copy of this pattern. So yeah, a $10 donation, and you get the pattern for free, and you are helping to bring clean water to someone who really needs it. So yeah, that's my little fundraising plug. So like I said, we're very passionate about the work that World Vision is doing. We actually sponsor 2 children through World Vision as well, which it's just been a really fun addition to our family and way to connect our kids. The boys that we sponsor are both right around our boys' age. So we have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. And so it's just a fun way to engage our kids in this conversation and kind of expose them to the fact that there are needs in this world and that we can help meet them. So anyways, yeah, that's not super yarny related, but it is a big part of our lives, and I just wanted to invite you to be a part of it with us. So that's all I've got going on, guys. I am so thankful that you have taken some time out of your day to come hang out with me and see what I've been up to and listen to me talk about all my yarns. Yeah, I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Don't forget to enter below as a giveaway for the Painted Moss Cowl, and don't forget about the coupon code. And if you feel like supporting our fundraising efforts, then obviously you don't need the coupon code or the giveaway, but do let me know, and I'll be sure to get that out to you. So I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!